Thank you, Rocky, for sharing your valuable knowledge. We trust that it's helped all of you to better understand how electronic and digital signatures differ. As we made clear, the risks that come with using untrusted signatures, such as simple electronic signatures, are significant, regardless of the size of your business. The damage that can be done by employing a solution with inferior security is serious. Before we bring on David, we'd like to invite you to participate in a poll that may shed some interesting light across what your peer group attendees here today think. Right, we'll be running the poll for about 90 seconds to 2 minutes, and we'd appreciate your input, and it will remain anonymous. Please take time to make your on-screen selections. All right, amazing. Thank you all so much for your participation. Now let's welcome back David, who will tell us about how trusted digital identities can be used in Signalflow's secure and easy to use signing application.
Hello everybody, my name is David Saunders. I'm the Regional Director for Signalflow based in Melbourne. So today really I'm just going to give you a bit of an insight into Signalflow in general, and then we'll quickly have a look at the signing application, just to show you how you can actually sign with a digital signature, which really ensures that you're signing with a trusted digital identity. So today really I'm going to focus on how our partnership with GlobalSign is helping organizations in Australia to fully automate their document processes in a secure manner using trusted digital signatures. So GlobalSign is one of the largest certificate authorities and has successfully integrated its digital certificate issuance system with SigniFlow. This allows for businesses and organizations to collaborate and have instant visibility into who has received, reviewed, signed a document using trusted digital certificates. Clients can conduct business efficiently, knowing that their signed documents are legally binding and fully backed by a court-admissible digital signature. Signalflow is a digital signature workflow manager that enhances and fully digitizes any process that requires a document to be signed or approved. As Rocky mentioned, unlike a simple electronic signatures, Signalflow's digital signatures use digital certificates issued by GlobalSign that binds the identity of the person to the PDF document. So when a document is digitally signed with Signalflow, the document's exact contents and the identity of the signatory are bound together to form a unique digital fingerprint, thereby ensuring non-repudiation in the court of law. Signatures can be verified without the need for any special proprietary software. Users can verify the signer's identity by simply clicking on or double-clicking on the digital signature within the document, and that will actually pull up the audit trail associated with the signing ceremony, but also the information specific to the signer. So using Signalflow, you can really ensure compliance with the Australian Electronic Transactions Act. You can secure your digital transactions, and you can store your files electronically as well. So next, I'm just going to give you a bit of an overview of Signalflow, who we are. So we're a global company. We're headquartered in the United Kingdom. We've got offices in Johannesburg, in Melbourne, Australia, as well as in Singapore. All of our clients and partners benefit from 24/7, 365 days a year support. We serve about 32 countries globally. The platform is in 11 languages. We have about 20,000 plus business clients that hosts close on 1 million users, and they circulate tens of millions of documents through the platform each year. All of our operations are ISO 9001 certified. We have an ISO 27001 certification for information security. Our deployment is in Microsoft Azure in Sydney. So really, you are complying with all local privacy requirements in Australia. So next up, I'm going to be sharing my screen just to show you what the platform actually looks like when signing a document. So the first thing that you would do is log into Signalflow. Generally, it's just a username and password that you have to log in. And when you log in, the first thing that you actually see really is a dashboard. So I have a certificate issued by GlobalSign provision to my account, meaning that I have been vetted by GlobalSign and I'm signing with a digital certificate. So the first thing you see is a couple of baskets. You can see what documents are pending. So we all get busy. Sometimes we miss emails. You would receive the document via email to sign. However, you can go into the pending basket just to access those documents and sign them. Circulating is where you've actually sent documents out for signature and you're waiting for other people to actually sign them. So within the circulating basket, you'll be able to see the document ID. So if we go in here, you'll see there's a document ID. If you click on the document ID, it'll actually pull up an audit trail associated with that specific transaction. And if we go into another document ID, you'll see that it has the same audit trail. You can see the signatures that are required, the date requested, the priority. If you've got multiple people in the workflow and at any stage a signer has to change, you don't have to go and cancel the workflow. You can just click edit. And then you can, as long as the person hasn't signed the document, you can edit the signer and then it will just quickly reroute back to that person for signature. So you can remind people, you can open documents, you can download them, or you can cancel the workflow entirely. So we also have canceled, expired, rejected. So somebody can reject a document with a reason. Completed, so everybody within the workflow has fulfilled their roles and responsibilities, which might be a signer, an approver, a viewer, or a witness. You then have drafts, shared with me, your team docs. So if you've got multiple departments and you want to make sure that all your information is segregated between different departments, we set up the business profile. And under the business profile, we can set up teams, departments, users. We can allocate team leads to the teams or departmental managers to the managers. And if you go into team docs, you'll be able to see all the documents that are currently in circulation with your team. Once again, you can access the audit trails. You can reassign the document. So perhaps I've gone on leave or somebody within my team's gone on leave. You can reassign it to somebody else, or you can remind that person that they need to sign. So each and every basket will have a document ID and as well as those embedded, the embedded audit trail. The audit trail does reside within the document as well, but is it backed up in the application? Portfolios is used extensively across our client base. So in particular, perhaps maybe a law firm, you have a specific matter and that matter really has various documents that somebody has to sign over the life cycle of that matter. A Signalflow portfolio allows you to create a central file associated with that matter, and within the matter, you would have all the documents. So if I click open, you'll see it as an example here. I've got multiple documents that are associated with that specific transaction. Now, these documents could be signed documents. They could be just copies of my passport. They could be invoices. They could be contracts, engagement letters, could be anything. And the actions that you can take within the portfolio is really you can download, you can email a copy, you can rename, delete, you can add a file. So maybe it's just a file that complements that portfolio. We can add a form, we can add a flow. We can also share the portfolio with everybody in the business or maybe a department or a team or with a contact. We can also make provision for attachments within the portfolio. So already portfolios allow you to digitize certain processes, accounts payable, or any form of approvals. You can also build forms. So you've got a form builder. So maybe you've got internal paper-based forms that you quickly want to go and digitize. You can just drag and drop. So it becomes quite smart. I'm doing this in haste today. But the end result is that in forms, or a standard user can go select a specific form that they use frequently, and they can select it, and they can push this form into workflow. So you've gone and already digitized a paper-based process by just building this form. Okay, so really the platform comes with all Microsoft Office plugins. You can actually sign in the Microsoft Office suite. It's directly connected to SigniFlow. And for the purpose of today, I'm just going to show you how you can quickly sign a document or send a document out for signatures. So we can create a new workflow. We can click to import a document from our desktop. We can drag and drop documents. We can use templates, precedents. I'm going to use a document template that I use frequently. We can now check the document to make sure it is the right document. We can rename it. We can replace it. We can split the pages. We can start a new portfolio, or we can add to an existing portfolio. So as I showed you earlier, I had a whole list of portfolios. So I can go find that portfolio, maybe it's an HR file, and I can link it. So when the document does get signed, it'll go back to that portfolio. But for today, we will just create a demo portfolio. We can set the priority. We can set a due date. We can set the document to expire on a certain date. We can set auto remind. I've got some custom configurations on my platform, so we'll choose to ignore that for today. We can set pre-configured messages. So it's a three-step process. You upload the document, you configure the document settings, and then you add the signers or approvers. So I'm going to add myself as a signer. My information will automatically pre-fill. I'm going to opt for a digital signature today. So you do have the option for a simple electronic signature, but I want a high security digital signature to ensure non-repudiation. We also have face sign available where we can actually embed an image of the person into the document at the time of signing. I'm going to add myself, and I'm going to add an external person. So this person's known to me. Their information will pre-fill as soon as I type their name, and I would go through the same process. I want them to sign the document. I don't want them to be able to proxy. I want to send a completed email. I want a digital signature, and I don't want face sign, so I'm going to add them. We have viewers, we have approvers, we have face-to-face, which is a witness, and we have a group. Next, I'm going to go to the document prepper. Now, I use this document frequently, so I've actually built a template that I have saved, and I'm going to apply that template shortly. But just to show you, you can navigate and apply the respective fields anywhere on the document that you need it. And we have signature, initials, mandatory text fields, non-mandatory, checkboxes, checkbox groups, drop-downs, names, dates, email addresses, contact numbers, designation, face-to-face initial, face-to-face signature, a company stamp. And this is where you can save your template once you've applied the fields. But for today, I'm going to go and find a template that I use often. And I'm going to load it. So now I've made provision for that. You can also, because I've created a portfolio, I can go and share this portfolio now with anybody within my team, a department, or the business. I can give them certain access, viewer, contributor, or owner. If it's just a specific user, I can type in their email address and share that portfolio. I'm also going to add a document placeholder. So this is an ID document. So a placeholder is our version of an attachment, and you can limit the visibility of the placeholder to certain people. So I'm going to add that ID document. And the next step is really just to release the documents. And because I'm the first person in the workflow, I'm going to be prompted to sign first. So there is an order of events. So we'll see that here is the document. The date has already been inputted, as well as my name. There's a requirement for an ID document. So I'm going to quickly add that document. Because we created that portfolio, as soon as I add this document, it's going to be added to that specific portfolio. So you can see the document has been uploaded. We have an ID document as well as the contract within the portfolio. So I just need to sign. While that's signing, we'll quickly jump back into the platform just to show you what's actually happening. So if we go into circulating, we can see now, this is the workflow that I sent. I initiated the workflow. I have signed on page 1. There's my IP address, my browser, my geolocation. I've uploaded a document, and now we are waiting on somebody to sign. Okay, so that document has now come through. This would contain your company branding. We would brand this according to your corporate identity. And the person receiving the document would click Open Document, and they would go straight into something called Easy Sign. It is a simplified user interface that the person engages with. It is not complicated. There is just some instructions. There is your personal message, and then they would just start navigating through the fields and completing the fields. You can see that I've signed this document now already. and they would then sign by drawing or uploading their signature. Or they have the option also for a font signature as well. So if we go back into circulating, see that document still over there. Take a few seconds to come through. I think we'll probably just go into the portfolio just to show you where that resides. So you'll see now we created that portfolio not too long ago. We have a document audit trail associated with the portfolio. And if we open the portfolio, you'll see that it has the document as well as the attachment. Now, just to show you the document that has been signed. So as mentioned, I have a certificate that has been issued by GlobalSign. So if you click on the signature, you'll see that we have embedded the audit trail into the document using a certificate issued by GlobalSign. If we go into the signature properties, we can see that I have signed the document. There's my email address, the signing time. I've accepted the document in an electronic format. There's a geolocation. Then what's important here is that I have my own personal certificate. So I have my own trusted digital identity. And that has been issued to me. So within the top of the screen, you can see there's a green tick. And each signer has the necessary embedments to actually ensure non-repudiation in a court of law. And what's important here is that we include an embedded timestamp. We do not use the date and time on the PC clock. We use GlobalSign's timestamping service. So a simple electronic signature does not offer you that. You'll find that if you click on that panel, it'll say that the time is from the person's clock on their PC. Now, if I had to sign with a simple electronic signature and change the date and time on my PC, of course, it'll affect the legal standing. So this is an advanced and qualified means, signing with a digital certificate. Okay, I think that's everything from me. So thank you everybody for attending today's session.
Thanks, David, for the presentation. We trust that it was a helpful demonstration of how SigniFlow's signing application works with trusted digital identities. Now we're just going to go over the poll results from earlier. They should just appear on the screen. Perfect. So the winner by far was budget with 44% as the biggest roadblock. And it was followed by concerns around the operational procedures needing to be changed. So I wonder if that's reflected in your businesses as well. All right, and then next up, we are going to welcome back both Rocky and David so they can answer any questions that you have that you've submitted during the presentation or that you'd like to submit now, which you can do through the Q&A box at the bottom of the screen. Right, we'll give you a moment if you'd like to add anything. All right, it doesn't look like we have any questions coming up, but if you do, you can, oh, there we are. So David or Rocky, not sure which one that you'd like to do, but how long does it take to implement these solutions?
I think from a SigniFlow point of view, I think we can have you set up within a 24-hour period.
Right, and from GlobalSign here, we have since we have this set of vetting process to follow, and but in general, our vetting process will take up 1 to 2 business days.
All right, perfect. Also, just wondering, do both signatures require certificates?
I think perhaps maybe I will answer that question. So if you are signing with a digital signature, then you do require a certificate which is issued by GlobalSign. And as part of that, they will actually vet you or your organization. And that really proves that you really are the person who you say you are. A simple electronic signature does have a certificate issued, but it's not issued to that specific person. So really, from a high security use case perspective, it would be beneficial to have a certificate issued to you directly by GlobalSign.
All right, perfect. Are there different types of digital certificates?
Yeah, let me answer that. So yes, Thomas, that's a good question. So public trust certificate authority like GlobalSign, we are providing different types of digital certificate for different purpose. So one of a very typical example is that you might see some of the website have those like a small tag in the URL bar. We call those SSL certificate to prove the website's identity, and also it carries a function of encryption. And other than that, yes, they also certificate that will be using, for example, like a software application, which is a code sign certificate. And you might see some of the email. They also have those called SMI certificate to sign on the email to prove that this email address it comes from a sender who claim he or she is to be. So yes, there are multiple types, but the one we are talking about here today is in particular that approved by PDF document, Adobe PDF document. So I hope that answers your question.
All right. There was some questions that have come through in the chat. How does one know if the person in the copy of the passport is the same as the person who they're dealing with?
So I guess what we're not actually verifying the passport information provided in the passport. However, SigniFlow does have a integration with Australia Post Digital Identity, and as part of that, we can actually run know your customer checks, whereby we actually where we qualify the passport information. As part of SigniFlow, you do have the ability to upload a document into SigniFlow, but unfortunately, we don't do the checks then and there. There would be separate functionality that you would have to use to actually run those checks.
Okay, great. And is there a physical identification done of the... Never mind, it's just disappeared. We've got another question. What happens if I modify the signed document?
Right. So as you can see earlier, when you have a document to be digitally signed, you will see a blue ribbon shows that all signatures are valid. But if someone tampered this document, so Adobe PDF Reader will visually indicate that the document has been tampered by showing that at least one signature has problems. This kind of information showing on that ribbon.
All right, great. I think that is a wrap with all our questions. So thank you. Sorry, we've reached the end of the webinar. And now for the lucky draw. As we had a significant number of registrations and to qualify for the draw, entrants needed to attend the webinar, we're going to tally up the registrations versus attendees. We'll do our calculations and draw a name at random, and then we'll inform one lucky winner of the Apple AirPods by tomorrow. Finally, before we go, we'd love to hear your thoughts on the webinar so that we make sure that we tailor our discussions according to your preferences. To this end, we ask that you take a moment to fill out a short survey that will appear on your screen. And your responses will go a long way to improve future webinars. Right, and you're also going to receive an email with a very special deal that's exclusive to all those who joined us today. We'll also share the link to the recording of the webinar, so that if you wish to watch it again later or share it with someone who might be interested, you're more than welcome. And we thank you for our time today, and we hope to see you again soon.